You are my beat. You are a feeling. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie Womack, and fostering a direct artist-to-fan relationship is what I'm all about. Music is my God, and on this channel, everything you hear from me, unless mentioned otherwise, has been created, produced, and written by me. I am a one-woman show. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned. Ooh, ooh, You got some games to play. You think you got a hand on me. You raised me with your mind, but I'm grown up. You still got shit to say. No, I am not gonna cry no more. And tears over the things you say, trying to keep me down. Nobody's gonna bring me down. Drink from this bottle saved up just for you. No more bringing God into your games. I'm sick of crying, sick of running away. Hey. I'm growing into my own. I'm loving me. I'm throwing away everything I've known in pursuit of myself. A girl to get to know. Don't need your pity. I don't need your praise. You be yours, I'll be mine. I'm just fine. I'm just fine. Nobody's gonna bring me down. Drink from this bottle saved up just for you. No more bringing God into your games. I'm sick of crying, sick of running away. Hey, nobody's gonna bring me down. Drink from this bottle saved up just for you. No more bringing God into your games. I'm sick of crying, sick of running away. Hey, nobody's gonna bring me down, 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 down. No, 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 no more crying. No, 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 no. No more crying, no more, no more crying. I'm on my sleep at night. No more lying over the things you say. I want peace. No more, no, no more, no, no more, no, 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 no more. No more, no, 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 hey, nobody's gonna bring me down. Drink from this bottle saved up just for you. No more bringing God into your games. I'm sick of crying, sick of running away. Hey, nobody's gonna keep me down, 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 down. That song is titled Nobody's Gonna Bring Me Down from my debut album, Eclectic Soul, released in 2005, 18 years ago. And this video is part of my series or my playlist titled Eclectic Soul 18 Years Later, where I do an a cappella rendition of each of the songs on my album and tell you what the song means. Nobody's Gonna Bring Me Down is a song that I started writing around the time that I was 20 years old. And at that time, I was leaving the church after about 7 years of singing in the church ministry. I began to start really questioning and doubting my faith and doubting the whole organization, the whole structure of the church and Christianity. I was in that period of my life where you start to get to know who you are as a person, as an adult. And I gave myself permission to start writing down these feelings of frustration and pent up aggression toward the church and God and religion, the whole society thereof. I grew up a preacher's kid, so I was in the church in ministry, and so was my father, and my mother is also ordained. And the first time I hit the stage was at church. My parents knew that, I really looked up to Whitney Houston and various other singers, but Whitney Houston being number one, there again, I can't help it. She's amazing and I miss her and I wish she was still with us. But I only had the courage to sing when I was at home around my family. And I remember being 13 years old, maybe 12, 13, and my parents told me that there's a church musical, a children's musical, holding auditions, and you're gonna audition. Because they wanted to push me on stage because they knew that I had stage fright. So I said, okay, because the way I was grown up or raised up, you don't question your parents. That's just not something you do. But when I turned 20, I started to realize that I now have the room and the safety to start really questioning everything, and having that safe space to do that was within my music and was within the song. So I had journals upon journals expressing all this frustration and confusion. But I did go through with that audition, and as terrified as I was, I just focused on the light that was shining down on stage and just tuned everything else out. And I got the part of one of the leading roles in a children's musical, a salty musical, if you're familiar with the Christian music scene. So when I did the opening show in that children's musical, at that time, the church that we were attending was this big old theater, like had so much charm and character to it. And every seat in that house was packed, and I believe it housed at least 1,000 or more people. I feel like it's more than that looking back on it. But at that age of 13 years old, seeing that huge crowd, even though I didn't really see them, but I knew they were there, because when you're on stage, the house lights are dark, so all the lights shine on the stage. So you can't really see the audience. You know they're there, but you can only hear them when they applaud or whatever. So when I finished the song, as I was walking to my next place based on the choreography of the show, I remember feeling like this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. This is home for me. And hearing the applause and hearing the whole church be so supportive was really a really huge moment for me as a 13-year-old especially. And it just kind of gave me that confirmation of this is what I'm supposed to do. So from that point on, the music pastor invited me to sing on the offertory schedule, which means for those who are not raised in church, during church, there's a portion of the service where a plate goes around and the church members can put money in the pot to go toward the church's further success and growth. And during that time, they would have a musical not musical as in like a musical Broadway show, but there would be a musical number. Either the choir would sing or a member of the church would share their heart and song. So that's what I did basically every month, maybe every other month on a regular basis for 7 years. And I would sing various songs, namely Crystal Lewis, because she is my favorite Christian music artist. I have her up on the same pedestal as Whitney Houston, but let's be honest, Whitney's a little bit higher because need I really say more? Next video, I'm just gonna wear a Whitney Houston shirt, call it a day. But so for 7 years, I was in the church ministry. I went to Christian school, and a portion of that time I was homeschooled. And so it's easy to believe in something that you're raised in, similar to how certain people speak a predominant language based on what was spoken at home. So it's just something that you just kind of take on. Did I believe in it? I think I did. But looking back on it and having my life experience now, I was a child doing what I was supposed to do. But at the same time, it gave me an outlet to express myself, because when I sang, I felt like I was in this bubble, this shelter. Singing really, like I said before in my previous video, it's a great way to let emotions out, to let things out, to give it a safe outlet. And crying my heart out to God through song in church on a regular basis was very cathartic for me. To, you know, being bullied at school or just really having a hard time adjusting, and the way that I felt as an early teenager, and to be able to have that as a resource to be able to pour out my heart in song was a great outlet for me at that age, because really all I had was my journal. Everything else I just kind of had to be kept to myself. But I started writing about my doubts toward God, my exact emotions. I did away with the thought that I wasn't allowed to feel what I was feeling, because the longer I did that, the more that I suppressed it, the more difficult it was for me to walk around in my own skin. So I felt very controlled, and I think I understand why I have been afraid of becoming famous or afraid of really going for my music, was because I knew what I had inside me, and I felt that if I wasn't careful, people would try to control me or to make me be a certain kind of entertainer, and that it would be a controlled environment again. I didn't want to go from being a preacher's kid and being overly sheltered to then being in this world where they're just going to do the same old thing to me all over again. I was feeling very stressed by that. And for those who know, for those who grew up being a preacher's kid, it's difficult. There's a pressure to it. And I didn't want to go through that pressure again. And sometimes when I'm making these videos now, I'm thinking, I'm doing this. There's a chance that people are going to hate what I do, and people are going to tell me I should have done this and I should have done that. But now I'm at a point in my life where if I don't do this, I'm already dying every day. I need to get on it. Time is of the essence. And I'm 43 years old now, so I'm a completely different person. How I respond to things is up to me. And people change and people evolve. If people want to harp on something I say or do, I'm not going to please anyone. So I'm doing this for my pure enjoyment. This is my pure joy. So coming from one controlled environment of childhood, of being a preacher's kid, and then in the controlled environment of singing in front of church every day and sometimes being told that, oh, the way you did that wasn't right, or the way you you're critiqued in ways that are hard for a 13, 14, 15, a teenager to deal with. Plus having the idea that, oh, I disappointed God on top of that. It was a lot of mental pressure. And I don't think people talk about this, which is another reason why I held back from talking about it and just put it in a song. But I felt like I was being held down. I was 20 years old. I still had all of these rules, these protections, these expectations. And all I wanted was to be able to breathe and to be myself and not feel guilty about it, and not feel like I had to overanalyze everything because God is watching, or other Christians won't approve of your behavior, what you say. And it's like, you know what? To some extent, I have to just do it for my sanity. Because if I live my life in a way to please everyone else, I'm going to drive myself crazy and be the next person to give up in a drastic way. And that's not what I want. So the first verse says, you've got some games to play. You think you've got a hand on me. You raised me with your mind, but now I'm grown up, but you still have to say. I'm not going to cry no more in tears over the things you say, trying to keep me down. You got some games to play. You think you got a hand on me. You raised me with your mind, but now I'm grown up, you still got shit to say. No, I am not gonna cry no more in tears over the things you say, trying to keep me down. So even though I wasn't actually in that assertive part of my life, I was only brave enough to say it within the context of my journal or within the context of a song. So, but I knew that I had to get these feelings out some way, somehow. I wasn't allowed to express my anger to my parents, people in church, because I was just a kid and kids were supposed to be seen and not heard. So I started over time writing my feelings. So even though Eclectic Soul was released in 2005, I started writing it in about 2002. And at that time, I was married, I had more freedom, I was able to really express my feelings and not feel shamed or punished by that or for that. So I was in a safe place to where I could start to give a voice to these feelings. So what I was saying was, I felt like I was being played with, that I was just someone to be controlled. You think you've got a hand on me. I'm this age now, and you still think that I'm this small in your eyes, because that's how I felt. I felt that I was just this thing or this person to be controlled no matter what age they reach. You raised me with your mind. Your part of raising me is over. I'm developing and forming my own thoughts, opinions, identity. But now I'm grown up, and you still have things to say. Self-explanatory. But I'm deciding to not cry anymore, because I used to cry myself to sleep at night over things that were said about my walk with God from the eyes of my family or from the eyes of the pastors or the preachers in church. And I essentially kind of snapped. And I felt like all of the things, all of the critique was just a way to keep me down, to keep me under someone's foot. Because in this world, in this life, at some point in time, we are all trying to keep someone beneath us, which is very sick. It's a human survival tactic, but it's also pretty sick and demented that we need to put someone underneath us in order for us to feel like we're in power. So I got sick of all that false power. And the chorus goes on to say, nobody's gonna bring me down. Drink from this bottle saved up just for you. I had all of this pent up emotions, all these feelings I could never say because I was supposed to be seen and not heard as a child. I was just supposed to shut up and take it. Well, after a while, that all became overwhelming. So I'm tired of being brought down. So I started to teach myself, nobody's gonna bring me down. I'm going to give them what I stored up for them. But at the same time, even though this wasn't mentioned in the lyrics, I learned to just state your feelings in that moment, assert yourself, which was something that was kind of taken from me, being seen and not heard. I didn't have that. I was never in touch with that inner power that was rightfully mine to speak up for myself. So in that song, I'm kind of developing and getting a first look at self-love, self-respect. No more bringing God into your games. I feel that there's a lot of a power play, controlling people with the whole God concept. Not just controlling your kids with the whole God concept, but as a mass society thing. Now, this might be something that YouTube might be crazy about, but again, I'm speaking my truth, and the whole story comes around. So these are my views and not the views of YouTube. So I felt angry when I realized that God was used to keep me in check. And that's because I recognized that as control, abuse of power, what have you. I knew that it was something that I needed to recognize and rise against. And that's what I did in this song. That's what I did in the chorus. Nobody's gonna bring me down. Drink from this bottle saved up just for you. No more bringing God into your games. I'm sick of crying, sick of running away. Sick of crying, sick of running away. I'm sick of not being able to handle my own shit, even though the conversation might turn ugly. I was even sick of my inability to overcome the toxic behavior that I learned, which is to not speak up for myself. Bringing God into your games, meaning bringing God into your toxic behavior. Because at the end of the day, a lot of it was just toxic behavior, but they were trying to co-sign God on it. That's shit that I don't even tolerate to this day. So I'm sick of crying, sick of running away. I might not have totally been there then, but I am definitely that woman today. The second verse goes on to say, I'm growing into my own. I'm loving me. I'm throwing away everything I've known in pursuit of myself, a girl to get to know. I don't need your pity. I don't need your prayers. You be yours, I'll be mine, just fine. So I'm growing into myself, and that's what being on this earth is about. And when you reach a certain age, a certain rite of passage, by all means, go for it. But be careful, because things out there in this world can either be there for your benefit or for your destruction. I'm growing into my own. I'm loving me. When I was married, I discovered self-love. The only love that I remember being taught was love your parents, love everyone else, love God. There was never really an internal love for yourself. And I think that is so important. And that's the reason why I'm still alive today, because I learned to love myself. And I got there. I'm at the place now where I can separate myself from them, if you will. I can love myself, I can respect myself, speak for myself, stand for myself. I can stand for anything and everything I've ever said in the past. I will own it, and I will also share how maybe I've evolved from that. Because as humans, we're not set in stone unless we choose to be. We can always evolve and be better. And 18 years ago, I wasn't better yet, but I was starting. I had planted the seed, and now I've come such a long way. Because today, nobody's gonna bring me down. Drink from this bottle saved up just for you. No more bringing God into your games. And I kind of want to take it a stretch further, because the way that I've evolved as a person, the song now kind of has a new meaning. Previously, it's nobody's gonna bring me down, but now it's nobody's gonna keep me down. People will attempt to put me in my place, whatever they think my place is, but it's not gonna work. It's never gonna work. I might fall down, but I get back up again. So nobody's gonna keep me down. So that is Nobody's Gonna Keep Me Down. I hope that this was informative. If you have enjoyed this video and have enjoyed hearing about what each song means on my album, I have already talked about Sing and Nobody's Gonna Bring Me Down today. There are still a few more songs that I'm going to go through with you, give you an a cappella rendition, explain what each song means. But as I am now, I hold who I was back then when I wrote that song very close and dear to my heart, because she was going through a lot that only those who grew up a preacher's kid or grew up in the limelight of church can understand. And it was also the reason why I held back and didn't really go as hardcore with my music like I could, because I didn't want to fall right back into another controlling environment. But now that I have education behind me, I have some life experience, I've gone through things in the industry that have taught me to just do it myself, and I'm glad that I did. So I'm going to proceed down this road being a stronger person, having true love in my life, someone that I met while not being in the limelight, someone who I see as my best friend, my rock, my everything. So I have great people in my corner that have my back. So there's no way nobody's gonna bring me down or keep me down, because I got this now. And it's just a bonus that I have love in my life that also has my back. So I wish everyone lots of love. Pursue your passion, know who you are, and take no bullshit. Enjoy life, enjoy your passion, be you. There's only one you. So fucking kill it. I'm Natalie Womack, formerly Natalie Nicole, and I'll see you in the next video. Music is my God. Where am I looking? Where am I looking? Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that you stick around to see what more I have coming my way as an artist who wants to foster a direct artist-to-fan relationship. Have a blessed day. Music is my God.